Should I read it?
You can read it, yes.
Food chains. We can depict a feeding relationship using a food chain. A food chain can describe the feeding relationship between a plant and an animal. One food chain is spinach is eaten by a caterpillar. The arrow means is eaten by. So this food chain tells us that the spinach is eaten by the caterpillar. Look at the food chains 1 and 2, opposites. Write each one in words and arrows.
These are two food chains. Like what we say about food chain is a food chain describes a feeding relationship between an animal and a plant. So animals living in the same environment, same habitat, they are interlinked with one another. They are connected with one another through food chain. So one of the example here is given. Already we can give more examples like plant is, looking at the food chain in the picture too, like goat is eating grass. So grass is being eaten by the goat. That would be a food chain actually. We will put right grass and an arrow and then a goat. In the upper one we have a hen and the hen is eating insects, I suppose. It is also one of the food chain. Yes, Karna?
Oh, nothing, mister.
So a food chain, as a definition, it's also present in the questions section of what I put there, is a feeding relationship between different animals. So one animal is being eaten by another animal. That is a food chain. Now, and like I said, the arrow is important. You should always check the direction of the arrow. If the direction of the arrow is wrong, then your whole food chain can be wrong. So kindly look at the arrow. Arrow means that thing is eaten by. So spinach is eaten by the caterpillar. So that is the resemblance of the food chain. Here they have given some different feeding relationships. So we have caterpillars eat spinach leaves and stalk borer. So I think this is caterpillar actually. This should be the stalk borer that eat maize plants. So different animals eat different animals eat plants. So this is how a food chain is made. So different animals, they eat one another. There is a feeding relationship between different organisms living in this world. For example, we humans, we eat goat, for example. So this food chain can be continued as grass being eaten by goat and goat being eaten by human being eaten by, I don't know, you can put something. This is a food feeding relationship, food chain. Describing an habitat in your area, you can leave this one. Saron, can you name 3 plants and 3 animals in your habitat? You have different plants in your home. I have seen it. Question number 1.
Yeah. Rosemary plants. Aloe vera.
Aloe vera, okay.
And
rose.
Mint.
Mint you have.
Rose, yeah.
Rose, so you got 3 plants, mint, rose, and aloe vera. 3 animals?
3 animals. I only have 1.
Cat or dog?
Dog.
Dog. Actually, 3 animals in your habitat means, your home, of course, but around if you can see, so you will have a cat, a dog, and a mouse. Simple examples, or a house lizard, or a cockroach as an insect, of course. So these different examples you can give whatever is in your habitat. Different animals, different insects living around your area. Other questions we will move to them later. So food chain begins with plants. Saron, can you read?
Yes. Everything that we and all animals do, such as moving, breathing, eating, and sleeping, needs energy. We get energy from food. All our food comes from plants. We either eat plants or we eat animals, which have eaten plants. Look back to the food chain in topic 2.1. Each begin with a plant.
Yes, continue.
Plants are unique because they produce their own food. For this reason, we call a plant a producer. Animals and humans cannot make their own food. They eat or consume plants, so an animal is called a consumer.
This is actually very important paragraph, and the information given here is important one. So we says that plants are able to produce their own food. We already discussed it before also. So that is why plants are known as producers, and we animals and humans, of course, we are not able to produce our own food. We get our food from the plants, so we are known as consumers. These two definitions, producers and consumers, they are also important. Producers are the one that can produce their own food, and consumers are the one that consume the food, that eat the food produced by the plants. So here they have given a description again. So in food chain one, the corn is produced and chicken is the consumer. So yeah, it is chicken that is listening. Then in the food two, if a boy eats the chicken in one, he is also a consumer. So now the food chain is corn, chicken, human. Actually, the same one I was discussing. So grass is eaten by a goat and goat is eaten by a human. In the same way, here they say corn is eaten by a chicken and chicken by a human. Corn is the producer, chicken is the consumer, and human is again secondary consumer because we are eating chicken. We all are consumers. Only plants are producers. They are the only organisms that can produce their own food in the natural environment. Here, how the plants are able to make their own food is common photosynthesis. But Johan, are you there?
Yeah,
Yes, Johan, can you read?
okay. How do plants make food? Plants make food in their leaves from sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide. A plant must have all three of these factors. If a plant gets sunlight and carbon dioxide, but not enough water, it will wither. In this unhealthy state, it will not make food. The plant takes in energy from the sun and uses it to change water and carbon dioxide into sugar and oxygen. It stores the sugar. The oxygen is a waste product, so the plant sends it back to the air. When an animal eats a plant, it gets energy from the sugar stored in the plant. Plant also takes in nutrients such as iron and magnesium. They are dissolved in water in the soil. The plant takes in the water and nutrients through its roots.
Actually, we said photosynthesis is a process that is used for the plants to make food. What happens in photosynthesis, plants mainly use the sunlight along with water and carbon dioxide. They use the process known as photosynthesis by using sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. Then they mix and they produce food and oxygen. Food is in the form of sugar, as stated here, and oxygen. The food is used by them, oxygen is given out as a byproduct, and we use that word oxygen. So for oxygen is actually a waste product for the plants, but it is essential for us. And we produce carbon dioxide that is being used by the plants. So actually it's a circular process. So like I said, plants produce their own food using the process of photosynthesis, which you are already aware of through different means. Now here it says plants also take in nutrients such as iron and magnesium. So they take these nutrients from soil through the roots. Actually, roots are the one that provide water and minerals, and iron and magnesium are the types of nutrients that are needed by the plants, especially for the chlorophyll. If these nutrients are not there or are less in amounts, then the plants face problem in doing the photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is an important process. If there is no light, mainly sunlight is the one that we need for the photosynthesis. And if there is no sunlight, it's very difficult for the plant to produce its own food. And eventually the plant will die due to the lack of sunlight. Now moving to the next topic, we have consumers in the food chain. As told in the previous topic also, like consumers are the living organisms that cannot produce their own food and that eat other animals or other plants for their nutrients or for getting energy. We human beings are also an example of consumers because we cannot produce our own food. In the same way, they have given some different examples. Ellen, can you read?
Yeah, consumers. Some animals eat many plants. Some animals eat other animals. An animal that eats other animals is called a predator.
Animal that eats another animal.
Yes. Animals eat other animals. We are also animals and we eat, for example, and so we are eating one another. Continue. Ellen, continue.
The animals that it kills and eats are its prey.
So actually in consumers, we have two types. One is known as predator and one is known as prey. So predators are the animals that eat, that hunt other animals actually. And prey are the animals that are being eaten. So we are sort of predator actually. We hunt, for example, people go to hunt fish, people go to hunt ducks, different types of different sparrows for eating. So we are also an example of predator because we hunt other animals and we eat them. Prey are the animals that are being eaten or that are being killed by the other animals. For example, owl, the example of owl is given here. Owl is a predator and his prey is the mouse. So owl is eating mouse. So that is what animals eating other animals means. For example, the common example is given of lion or tiger. Actually, they are the king of the jungle, and they eat zebras, they eat giraffes, they eat elephants, depending on the size. So these are all predators, and prey are the one that are being eaten. And we humans are also sometimes prey because we are also being hunted by some animals time to time. For example, frog is a predator because it eats insects. The frog has to be quick. It shoots out its sticky tongue to catch its prey. So frog eats insects. So in this case, frog is a predator. Here, this image can become disturbing for some of you. Snake eating egg. The snakes are known to eat their own eggs. Actually, sometimes they can eat for energy. So snakes are predators. Some kill their prey with venom, but this snake is swallowing its prey and egg as a whole. So they are eating eggs. Actually, if you look at the connection, snake can also eat the frog. So in this case, frog can be prey and snake can be predator. These all animals, they eat one another and they produce the food chain actually. Food chain starts with the producer and then goes on with different types of consumers. Here, if you look at this example, sometimes there is more than one predator in a food chain. So we have a plant as a producer, then we have a grasshopper, and grasshopper is being eaten by a lizard, and this lizard is eaten by the eagle or it's eagle. So these are different connections. All are connected with one another. So if we put uh, a minute. So if you put different arrows, so you will get a food chain. So these arrows will show you that how they are connected. So plant is eaten by a grasshopper, grasshopper is eaten by a lizard, and the lizard is eaten by the eagle. So this is food chain example of producer and consumer. It again says the grasshopper eats the plant, then the grasshopper becomes the prey for the lizard, which is predator, and then the lizard becomes the prey of the hawk, that's hawk, which is another predator. So there can be more than one predators in one food chain. Like I said, we are also example of predator in most of the cases. So Ellen, can you answer this question? Question number 1. Yes, your mic is off, Ellen. So yeah, now
Am I supposed to choose from these options?
it's up to you. I mean, not these options in your local habitat, in your area, in your home, around your home, for example. What do you think are two predators?
Dogs.
Which page is this?
What?
Which page?
Which page? This is page number 27.
27.
So think back to your local habitat. Yes, dog can be one of them. Even cat can be there. Cat is also a predator. Sparrows, for example, we have sparrows in our local habitat. Sparrows, they hunt different insects. So sparrows are also example of predators. In your local habitat, anything can be. Lizard can be a predator. Frog, we don't have frog, but in this condition, of course, it's cold here. But lizards can be there. Different type of insects, different type of birds. These are all examples of predators. Shebnath, look at the animals in the picture and answer the question.
Okay. The polar bear, sorry,
Okay.
the seal is eaten. The seal is eaten by the polar bear.
Okay.
Here, I lost the page. Okay. The seal is eaten by the polar bear. The fish is eaten by the seagull. The fly is eaten by the frog. And the spider.
Spider can be
The
eaten by
antelope,
the frog also.
the antelope is eaten by the cheetah.
The antelope is eaten by the cheetah. Very good. Glenn, you raise your hand. Glenn. Glenn, can you hear when you raise your hand? Glenn, can you hear us? Glenn. I think Glenn is not here. So these questions are related with drawing. So we are not drawing this. Draw a food chain to pick one of the predator and predators. Actually, Kevin told this answer also. The prey and predator relationship. So we don't need to. All of them are related with one another. I mean, polar bear eats fish, for example, and seals. Sami came very late actually. Sami. Sami, why are you late, Sami?
I accidentally entered another class.
Accidentally, which class you entered?
Maths.
Okay, mathematics. Okay, our time is also less actually, so we will be moving here. Food chain in different habitats. So what is a habitat? Anyone of you can tell?
Mister.
If Sami came late, so Sami should answer it. Sami,
Yes,
Sami, what is a habitat? Habitat.
a habitat is a place where animals live.
Yes, a habitat, very good. A habitat is a place where different animals and different birds or different plants live together. Yes, Kevnath.
Okay, a habitat is an area where a specific animal is used to living. For example, a fish, its habitat is like the ocean or the sea. It has to be water, or a parrot or like a tropical bird or something has to stay in a tropical forest, or because that's what it's used to being near to in its habitat, like the area that
The area where
it's
they live
like,
for the whole life, actually, not a normal area where they live, they spend their life, they produce children. That is their habitat. Like Kevnath said, yes, for the fish we have water, we have oceans, sea. For birds we have trees. For cheetah, for example, or lion, we have the jungle. So these are all different habitats of different animals. Here they have given tropical forest and deserts. Actually, in Ethiopia, we have forests, but I don't know if they are tropical or not. But in Ethiopia, as far as I know, we have desert also in the Tigray region, I suppose. Borders near Eritrea or Sudan, they are a bit deserted, and there are some volcanoes also here. So, and we are in Africa, and the savanna of Africa is also very famous. So, Johan, can you read food chains in savanna habitat?
The savanna covers a large part of Africa. It is hot all year and the rain comes mainly in summer. Grass and scattered trees grow there. Some animals eat the grass and trees. Others are predators. This is a food chain in a savanna habitat. Discuss what is happening in the food chain. Which are the producers? Which are the consumers? Which consumers are predators and which are prey? What does each animal eat?
So if we see the first question, which are the producers? So there is only one producer here. This very beautiful tree is the producer. And which are the consumers? All the other animals other than this tree, these all animals, giraffe, wild dog, cheetah, zebra, these are all different types of consumers. Actually, this wild dog is also known as hyena. It looks like a hyena, and hyenas are also very abundant in there in Ethiopia. Then the next question is, which consumers are predators and which are prey? Helen, can you tell which are predators and which are prey?
Okay, the predators are lion,
Okay,
cheetah,
cheetah.
hyena, and wild dog.
Wild dog. Actually, one present this area, this after the arrow one, these are all predators, we can say. And these ones, the zebra, the giraffe, the wild beast, these are all prey. So these are all, they have their different relationships. So lion can eat giraffe and zebra, while cheetah can eat wild beast. So they have all their interconnection. And they all start from a tree, a plant. So a food chain always starts from a plant, then prey, and then it goes to the predator. So animals that eat actually only vegetables or only plants are prey most of the time. These animals, they eat plants, trees, so these are prey. And the ones that are carnivores that eat flesh and meat, they are the predators. This is the common example. So now they have given us ocean habitat, food chain in an ocean. Nicole, can you read, Nicole? Your mic is off. Your mic is off again. Yes.
Almost 3/4 of the Earth's surface is ocean, so ocean habitats are very important. There are many types of seaweed. Most plants and animals are so small you can't see them with the naked eye. These are called plankton. Some sea animals only eat plankton, others are predators.
So actually, yes, this is also one of the important terms. Planktons are important. So these are the animals, these are the plants that are microscopic, that are very small in size, that you can't see with your own eye, and they are present in this ocean. These planktons, we also call them zooplanktons or phytoplanktons. They are different type of microscopic animals and plants, and they are present in the sea, and they are eaten by other animals and plants. This is one type of animal and plant, microscopic animals, microscopic plants present in the sea, eaten by the other animals and plants. So here they have shown a very good relationship. This is also known as food web actually, where the animals are interconnected. So the seagull is eating a fish, then the shark, I think, is eating another fish, then we have octopus, and we have fish eating the algae or some other sea plants. These are all interconnected with one another. And in the end, we have always a human being that is eating all of them. And these are the planktons, actually, different type of microscopic plants, microscopic animals that are eaten by other animals, like the fish or some other animals that. So we answered these questions, actually, most of them. I mean, these name 3 animals that only eat plants, so you have to just see this one: giraffe, wild beast, and zebra. They are eaten by the trees. And others are also similar. So let me see the time. We have almost 5 minutes, so we can finish this one. Deforestation, actually very common topic, very non-topic. Ahmed Jamal, can you read it?
Tropical rainforests are cut down at the rate of one football field every second. Deforestation happens when we destroy forests by cutting down trees. Why does this happen? The main reasons are to collect wood to make furniture, to collect wood to burn as a fuel, to clear land for farming, to clear land for cities, and to clear land for mining.
It's deforestation. What is deforestation? It is the cutting down of trees and cutting down of jungles, and cutting down of greenery. I mean, for example, the area we have our own school is also, it had a lot of more trees in the start, and we cut many of the trees to build to renew our own building. And in front of our school, you can see there are a lot of different flowers and trees, but people are cutting them. We have to cut them for making room for our own needs. We need to build more buildings, more hospitals, more schools, and that is why we are cutting, which is negative, which is not good to do. So we said that to collect wood to make furniture, to collect wood to burn fuels for farming, for cities, and for mining, along with some other things. We cut trees, we cut the forest. Yes, Kirnath, what do you want to say? I thought you want to say something. So actually, yeah, for today, these are the only topics we will be discussing. So we discussed deforestation, along with consumers, producers, food chains, habitats. So 4 or 5 different terms we have studied. Like I said, the questions are already there in the final examination preparation topic in your book, oh sorry, in your classroom. So kindly check them and study from them. So have a nice day. Bye bye. The meeting is already going to be closed. I have very little time left.
Okay, bye,
Thank you.
Mr.
Bye bye.
Bye, Mister.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye, Mister.